Welcome into the men's basketball report for November 30th. Meeting up with Coach Schertz after the team picked up a 91-73 victory last night over Tusculum in the South Atlantic Conference opener. Coach, obviously a game that the first half you dominated, get up by 31 points, and then in the second half Tusculum makes a little bit of a run, but overall it was not enough to overcome a 31-point deficit. You moved to 6-0, 1-0 in South Atlantic Conference play. So what did you see last night?
Well, I think, it was a tale of two different games, really. I mean, I thought we came out and we were really locked in and focused, and kind of it's been the same story all year long. When we're locked in executing, we can play some really good basketball, and then, each and every game, for whatever reason, we have lapses. Sometimes it's in the first half. In this case, it was in the second half. But, I don't want to at all discredit Tusculum, because I thought they were terrific. Their response in the second half, we got up, I think we got up 34 with about 17 minutes to go, and easily for them could have kind of packed it in, and they came out and really played much harder than we did the last 17 minutes. Showed a lot of fight, showed a lot of resolve, and I thought, from our end, they did with, some great things, and certainly elevated their performance. And I think, we, as have happened in these lapses, when we have our valleys, our peaks are high when we're playing well, and our valleys are really, really steep when we're not, because I think we lose, our effort takes a significant dip, our attention to detail goes to zero, and we become disconnected on both ends of the floor, and so it's hard to get much done when all that's going on. So, but credit Tusculum. I thought they really last 17 minutes, that whole segment, just absolutely wore us out. And again, we didn't. We're not at a point, when you have somebody down, you want to be able to put them away, and we don't have the. Like I told you last night, we don't have the psychological disposition right now to do that. We don't have the toughness and that killer instinct, that edge that really good teams have, that when you get somebody down, you're gonna step on them and put them away, and we didn't last night. We didn't, I think, really either time against Shorter. We've been in these situations, and we just haven't been able to get that done. So I mean, King, I think, was the only time that we really came out and did that. But since then, we've been unable to kind of find that killer instinct.
Well, and like you said, that has been kind of the theme, the whole lapses. We've seen this team where they look as good as any team in the country, and then these lapses, you're going to have lapses in games, but these have been extended lapses. So how are you as a coaching staff and as the team trying to eliminate those?
I mean, there's only, you just got to come back and keep working on it and keep trying to improve it. The only way to there's no magic formula. I'm going to try, I got to, obviously whatever I'm doing is not working. So you try to vary approaches, and you hope that there's ultimately, the players have to resolve it. I have to do a better job of I guess, somehow communicating the importance of trying to play every possession. Obviously, as you play teams, and if you want to become a really good team, the goal is to be able to focus and maximize every single possession, right? I mean, to play against and beat an elite team, you have to be consistent over a 40-minute window, and with your effort and your execution. And we don't do it. You have to do it in practice, and ultimately it has to start there. You build your stamina in practice. You build your endurance in terms of being able to consistently go out and execute and do your job well, possession by possession. That's what it takes to win. There's no magic wand, no magic pill, and ultimately I have to find a way to get them to be focused possession by possession, and not be so motivated by maybe who we're playing or the score, or focusing on the wrong things, because obviously focusing on the wrong things is how you get how these lapses are created. And so I agree with you. When we're playing well and the guys are engaged and they're locked in, then this is, as we're a really good basketball team. We do some really good things. I don't know if we're the best, or we'll see how good we are in time, but I do know that if we don't minimize these lapses or eradicate these lapses here, that there's no chance for us to become a championship level team. And it's easy to get caught up in results and think, and be so emotionally moved by being 6-0 and whatever. But the reality is, we have to get a lot better. They know they have to get a lot better, and the majority of our issue is between our ears. So that's at least a positive thing. Is most of what ails us is under our control to be fixed.
Well, and, in spite of that, the lapses and stuff like that, it's still a lot to really pops off the screen at you when you kind of look at the numbers. Leading the league in points per game, second in points per game allowed, not turning the ball over much would lead the league in fewest turnovers, and second in the league in assists per game. So a lot of things are really going well for this team in spite of that. So kind of how have you assessed that 6-0 start?
Well, I think, obviously we have really good players. We have talent, and we have enough talent to win some games on talent alone. But I do think we've done, all's not bad. I think people can get into, it's everything's negative or everything's positive based on results. We certainly have areas we have to clean up. But one thing I think, this team has done well is been efficient offensively. They definitely share the ball. Like you said, over right around 20 assists a game, and I think 12.8 turnovers a game, and we have played at a good pace. And when we're playing the game the right way, making the right basketball plays, it's a really fun team to watch because we got a lot of playmakers. We got a lot of guys that can shoot the ball. We got a lot of guys that can handle and pass. We can do a lot of things and be creative offensively and defensively. Again, when we're engaged and attentive, then I think we do some really good things defensively. We're long. We can switch a lot of stuff. We do a good job challenging shots, deflecting passes, and we have good size. There's a lot that again, if this team falls short of becoming its best possible version of itself, it'll strictly be because we weren't able to clean up the lapses. It won't be because there's selfishness or bad character or any of those stuff. The guys play for one another without question, and I think, like I said, we have some really good players. So we've done a lot of good things to get to 6-0. You don't win 6 games without doing a lot of good stuff. I think sometimes it's easy to take winning for granted, but it is difficult. And these guys have done a lot of good stuff over enough period of time to find ways to be successful here the first 6 times out. So we're as always, you go back and you try to be look at things from a critical standpoint and self-evaluate. And then you come back and you try to build on the things you're doing well and continue those things. And then you look at the areas you got to improve, and you try to certainly buffer your weaknesses and strengthen those, and try to control what you can, which is always your preparation and performance.
On Saturday, you began a 4-game homestand here at Tex Turner Arena against Catawba. Super talented team. South, they were one of those kind of sneaky picks, I guess, in the South Atlantic Conference. They've struggled early in the season, though. We talked about it a little bit off camera, dealing with some injuries and stuff like that at 2-3 overall right now. But kind of what is the challenge that Catawba can bring to the table here?
Well, I think Rob does over at Catawba does an excellent job. He's he does a great job recruiting. He assembles really good teams from a talent standpoint. I think he does. They throw a lot of looks at you on both ends of the floor. So it's you got to be ready to meet the challenge of adjusting what they do. They're not scared to throw 1-3-1 at you, zone, press, man. They guard ball screens different ways. There's a lot to input and make sure you're ready to kind of execute against changing defense. They run good stuff offensively. Like we talked about off camera, they're 2-3, but lost Jameel Taylor, who's in my opinion one of the best players in the league, certainly one of the first team all-league guy, and lost him first game. We expect him back and assume he'll play here, and that'll be difficult for anybody to overcome. There's I don't think any team, ourselves, anybody else in our league, it's hard to overcome arguably your best player, one of your best players going down. So it'll be a tremendous challenge. I think they have, Jaron Morrison is leading the league in scoring. He's doing it at an unbelievably efficient rate. He was averaging, I think, on the Queens game, 26 points a game, on over 50% from the field as a guard. Malik Constantine's a guy they're using as kind of a point forward, almost like how we utilize Dorian, where he's able to be so versatile and play make and score for them and assist for them, and he's averaging close to a double-double. So really good team. Like I said, they throw a lot of different looks at you on both ends of the floor. You got to be prepared to execute offensively against those changing looks, and certainly defensively. Got really good players, and Rob does a good job putting them in position to be successful. So big challenge. We'll have to be at our best. We'll have to play our best game of the season to this point to have a chance to be successful on Saturday.
When it'll be about the quarter mark of the season, once you get to that game. So kind of what are you expecting to see with it being the 7th game of the season?
Well, hopefully improved execution. Hopefully improved attention to detail. Again, we're doing a lot of good things, and we want to continue to move forward with those. But the areas that we need to clean up, we need to clean up. I was listening to a guy, and it was I thought it was apropos for our team. He was talking about telling a story of a kid who he has bad grades on his report card, and he comes home, and the dad, takes the report card, looks at him, and says, "What is it, son? Is it ignorance or is it apathy?" And he says, "I don't know, Dad, and I don't care." And so, for us, it has to mean enough to us to start trying to put together a complete game. We have to care enough to do it. And if it's ignorance, and that's on me, I need to do a better job of conveying the message and reiterating the importance of competing and giving, playing it every single possession, and how vital that is to our development. And they got to do a better job of inputting that and going out and producing it. So I got to do better, they got to do better, and hopefully we'll get a little better before Saturday in those two areas, and clean up some things we got to clean up offensively, defensively, and try to put our best foot forward Saturday. But hopefully we'll be a little better than we were, at least on a more consistent basis than we've been here the first 6 games. That'd be a nice way to get into the quarter mark of the season.